Welcome to the Radical Job Shop Show, where leaders of some of America's most vital and under-the-radar small businesses go deep and get gritty about what it takes to build a bold, profitable, and impactful shop. I'm your host, Emily Joann Wilkins, founder of Marketing Metal, the anti-agency that helps machine shops, fabricators, and custom equipment builders craft a radical brand that leaves behind a legacy.
In this episode, the owner of Creston, Paul Hendricks, tells us some of the little-known history about this local conference and talks about its growth and success over the past 10 years. We also chat about how strong partnerships with machine tool distributors can have a huge impact on your bottom line and what it means to be a great leader in the manufacturing space. This is the Radical Job Shop Show.
All right, we are here with Paul Hendricks, the owner of Creston Industrial Sales. And Paul, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Emily. Happy to be here. Yeah, exciting. We've known each other for a little bit. I think, How many times have you been at the show here now? It's got to be a few.
Yeah.
You've been here a while.
This is our third year exhibiting.
Yeah. And then you had done a part of it before that
Yep,
yeah, it's great to see you, on our 10th anniversary of the AME show. I can't even believe it. So we continue to see some growth every year and have a lot of exciting things going on. So it's really fun.
What's the coolest thing this year?
I would say that there's a lot to pick from. I think that the automation hall, some of the advancements in automation is really exciting to see some of that coming around. And I have to add in, I think the amount of actual machining demos that are here, that we're actually, rigging in equipment to live demos and showcase some of that new technology is really cool. There's a lot that goes into that. And
they're cutting mini Thor's hammers across the hallway.
I saw that and it was just unbelievable. We do a rigging day. We have so much equipment coming in that we actually added a setup day that I call rigging day.
Yeah.
And there were like 15 or 20 big rigs and all this other equipment all on the floor, moving these 100,000-pound machines around, trying to get set up, and it was pretty impressive. So,
it is, it's crazy to see how much comes in and how they can get it all set up in just a day.
Yeah, I know. They do a great job. Those teams have it really dialed, and they know what they're doing.
I joined the marketing committee year 2, which was the first year that they did it outside of industrial control.
Yeah.
Right, because the first year was just their little show thing.
Yeah, so there is a cool story about this show.
Yeah.
And I'll if we have time, I'll tell it. But
go for it.
So I took my team to IMTS in 2014, and it was $15,000 for us to go and attend the show just with us and pay for hotels and meals and everything like that.
Yep. Not even with a booth.
So I started asking around, and then I find out how much some of these exhibitors are spending on booths in there. And there's like tooling guys that are spending $1 million on booths. We also saw that a lot of our customers, because it's costly to go down there, like it's just the owner that's coming to IMTS or their key people. We saw a little bit of a hole, so we fired up a little open house and we had vendors in there to be technical. We saw a great turnout.
Yeah.
A ton of people coming out from deep within these organizations to learn about some products. So we're like, I think that this could be something that we could take beyond just Creston. We came up with this idea of more of a regional based show that drew people in from driving distance, easy to park and come in. We pitched it to a gentleman that owned a venue over here. He was like, yes, this sounds great. And we didn't hear much. And all of a sudden we see a show called the Advanced Manufacturing Expo. And I go into him and I'm like, you just took our idea and did it on your own. And he was like, no. This other guy was already had this and he's doing it here and he's moving it. So I'm like, well, who's this guy? I got to go and talk to him. Well, it turns out he was in that mentoring program with me, that leadership mentoring program. We partnered up. We're like, we share a lot of the same customers here. Maybe we should partner up and let me do a metalworking hall and do this. And so we kicking around and we look at the costs and it's going to be a risk. We're going to put ourselves out there to do it and everything like that. And I was riding in the car with the president of Walter Tools, telling him about my idea. And then he confided in me that at that time they were considering not doing IMTS and pulling out of that show because they weren't having the ROI. For me, when I looked at it, it was founded on a couple foundational principles for the show. One was it has to bring tangible value. It can't be a black hole of money that we pump into and then hope we get it out. It can't be an ego show where it's like seen or be seen. It's got to bring true value to the exhibitors that have it. We're going to take really good care of them. It's not just about the attendees. It's about the people that exhibit here just as much in their experience. Yep. And so now here we are 10 years later and hoping to cross a pretty major milestone this year.
Was that first year at the Deltaplex or the Pinnacle Center?
The first year of AME was the Pinnacle Center.
Yeah.
The first year we participated, which was year two, was at the Deltaplex.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So I joined the year before. I started at the Pinnacle Center. Yes. I was on the marketing team. We did the helped with the website and stuff.
Yep.
We got a free booth out of it, and
here
we are. I'm still exchanging services for booth space.
So it's been great. It's been really exciting how much it's grown. And the attendance today has been phenomenal.
It has, yeah.
We see a lot of people. The hope is that everybody here is getting value. Time is valuable, and we don't want to waste it. Same principles we adhere to for our customers,
Yeah, and it's really the quality of the conversations that happen on the floor too.
Yep.
It might not be like crowded wall to wall, but the conversations that you're having are the good ones that actually lead to business. I mean, I've definitely got business from the show.
We're seeing a significant amount of people from outside of the region come in. We're seeing a significant amount of people come in from out of state at this point now.
Yeah, one of my customers here from Indiana.
Some exhibitors from out of the country here.
Yeah.
Michigan in general is a great market for manufacturing.
Yeah.
And the show in Grand Rapids in August and July, there's nowhere better, I believe, in the country to be. So it's pretty enticing to be able to come to West Michigan, enjoy some of the wonderful summertime that we have here. Anybody that's ever looking to do that, hit me up and we can get you helped out and get you scheduled and make it a great time for you. So
some of the most beautiful beaches in the world.
Yep, it really is. So we're really blessed.
Yes. Talk about kids.
Yeah, we see a lot. My son will be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. He's super into it. He really likes it. We continue to see people trying to bring that out. I also know that there's a couple booths here that are dedicated to like engaging. We have younger kids here that people are bringing through to learn a little bit about the manufacturing culture that we have here in Michigan. There's booths here that they're targeting kids coming up through high school and college and getting them really excited about the opportunities that exist there. So I've been doing this a long time. It's great, fulfilling work. And there's been a significant amount of people that have made great livings in a great area in our industry. And we're just educating people on that. Free to attend. So the burden there is low on having to get people in the door, and you can come see a lot. And I know a lot of people will be happily show them the demonstrations and what's going on. So that's been exciting.
My BFF's 10-year-old, he's just like amazed. I mean, he was standing transfixed watching the Swiss machine make that Thor's hammer. He just stood there and stared at it.
Those are amazing. So that's some of the coolest stuff in machining right now is the Swiss machining for the right jobs. You can just dominate on productivity.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and they're right next door, right over here, Millennium Machinery. Really went to town, brought in some great equipment, some demos, and that's been exciting to see.
What does the show look like in 5 years?
I want to say we want to have consistent growth. We don't want to get too out of hand. We don't want to drift too far from our mission of value and productivity, and continuing to expand our reach in our region. At the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal to drive. We have people that are driving an hour, 2, 3 hours. It's not that big of a deal to drive 5 hours, stay the night in an amazing city that's very affordable. That's extremely walkable here. Come to the show and head home. We can expand the footprint significantly and keep going on that. The airport here has like 30 direct cities. What used to be a regional airport, it's punching up in its weight class for how easy it is to get here. What we have on the floor here, all the automation and metalworking all in one spot, and all the latest technology, the machine tool demos, Michigan in the summer, we feel like this is a destination for even more outside of the region.
Yeah.
That we can have people come from all over and be really happy they did. I'd love to see it double in size by then. So
That'd be great.
yep, and we got the infrastructure and the
Yep.
ability to do it. So
Tell us a little bit about Creston.
So Creston is an industrial distributor. We supply industrial products to manufacturers. Many of our customers are in the metalworking space, hence the metalworking all. We have been around since 1958 and continue to focus on productivity, improvement, and savings for our customers. With our products, a misapplied product can really cost you a lot, or old technology or whatever. If we can apply something that works better, makes parts faster, helps the length of how long the tool lasts so we don't have to keep changing it out, that's what we do. So technical resource for our customers. And then on the other side, it's really the logistics side of making sure all those machines are up and running for our customers and not shutting down. When machines are running, typically they're doing well, and machines are not running, it's costing money.
Your dad started the company, right?
No, so the founders were actually from Grand Rapids. There was a lumber yard called Creston Lumber. This story was told to me by kind of the last owner that I took over for. And they had a partner and they had a dream to start, kind of coming out of in the early 1950s. There's more and more tooling being sold and machining being done. So they spun off a division of the company called Creston Industrial, and then they finally incorporated in 1958. They ran that business to like the mid 70s. And then there was a death of one of the founders, and the other founder, after a few years, transitioned it to a gentleman named Ed Van Timmeren. My dad used to work there as in the warehouse. I still have his first paycheck. It's kind of a memento from 1966.
Oh, wow.
So, and then
That's
my
cool.
dad had left, and then after Ed came and took over, my dad came back. And then my dad became a part owner of the company, and they ran the company as kind of a partnership for 25 years. And come 2008, and I teamed up with my dad and we bought the company. It's been a great investment. I love the industry. I've always enjoyed it. I came from a little bit different background for my professional career, and when I started at Creston, I started like right on the order desk, doing customer service to learn the business. Even though I bought this business, I had to kind of learn what was going on and how it worked. And that's benefited me significantly.
Yeah, for sure. Your background was a little different. What did you do before?
So I graduated from Michigan State with a construction management degree.
Okay.
And I ended my career in that as a project manager for a commercial construction company, but always had kind of a dream to be entrepreneurial. I had a couple ideas, and I wanted, in 2008 and 2009, where with our downturn in that time, there was a lot of people that were very much struggling. I just didn't have a lot to lose, and I kind of saw there's to be some opportunity in the market for somebody like me. So put together a couple things that I wanted to start, used my dad's help to kind of vet these out. We were going down the road. I was looking at funding them. And then finally, when we started seeing some of the costs, we said to ourselves, we should probably consider that Creston's on the market, that we should buy that. And that's what we did.
And here we are.
Yeah,
How many years later? 15 years? 15, 17 years later?
Yeah. Yep. It's been a few.
It's been a few years. You've seen a lot in your time at Creston. As you were saying before, one of the benefits of working with you guys is that you're in so many different shops and you see so many different things, and you get to learn from your customers all the time. So you're really in a position to give them that advice because you see such a broad variety, right?
Our goal, obviously, and the reason we exist is to find a way to bring value for our customers, like any business. And so we really have to listen to what they have going on and what we can do to help them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different versions of that. Sometimes they could be, productivity related. Sometimes they could be, things shift around. We have to just listen, hear what they need help with, and then provide that service. So really, we can't be viewed as an expense or a cost. We have to be viewed as a trusted partner.
Yeah, for sure. In our intro call, you were kind of telling me, I think you told me about an example of a customer that you saved a lot of money for.
When you're working on like the productivity side, I continue to push that with our team. We have to be careful that there is a difference between the price and the cost and the true cost. And now if you're buying something that is a true commodity, that, if a customer is buying something that's a true commodity, that you just need this specific thing, then yes, obviously the price and the costs are combined. Like, how much can I buy this for? But we have to make sure that we are not too focused on that when we get into, especially like machining operations. A customer has 3 or 4 machines running a part and they're getting X amount of parts out of it at this amount. If we can come in and increase that output by changing the tooling or making the tooling that we have last 4 times longer than a different product, that's going to equate to lower costs for them.
More
profitability. Everything. You could have less labor because you're using less machines. We've done things before where if the volumes go up for a specific customer, sometimes it might make sense rather than just going and buying another $500,000, $1 million machine.
Right.
Maybe we really invest in some quality products, in those existing machines and see if we can get the throughput up that way.
Right. Yeah.
And we can have cost savings there. Yeah, you don't have as much building space.
Yeah.
Buildings are expensive now.
Yeah.
But
hard to come by too.
yeah, we like to come in and really prove that out and try and find those cost savings, document those cost savings, and continually improve these operations and these customers. That's my team's, prime directive is on the value-driven side. So we also really like to keep machines up and running. That's very important as well. So the logistics side of things is really, really critical too. Recently, we had one where we tweaked some tooling. It was a more costly tool that we put in there, but not by much. It might have been a 10% more, but we were able to write like a $280,000 cost savings because this was a job that they used a significant amount of these products, and we were able to get so much more tool life and so much better finish.
$280,000 of extra profit, right?
Yeah, implemented correctly. We really try and keep it real. Some other people trying to show cost savings as maybe like fudge it a little bit. We really try and keep it like hard cost. And we're like, hey, this actually is going to work like this. And hopefully we should be able to see this right in the P&L.
Yeah.
Not like buried in a bunch of other stuff.
What kind of product were they making?
This was an automotive customer that's making an engine component.
Was it a big company, small company?
Well, this is a mid-sized company. They were doing a heavy volume, so probably mid to large size. That's an example of one in the hundreds of thousands. We love those once in a while, but we work on cost savings that are 7,000, 8,000, 10,000. But those add up. If we do 10 of those in a year for a shop that has, 6 or 8 machines, that could be a, $50,000 to $100,000.
It's a lot of money for a small shop.
But we realize that it's not always perfect. Some customers, they might not be able to implement those, as well. Some might not have the long volume to get it where they use the entire life of something. That's why there's so many different products here, that we can recommend. But we're always looking for that.
So I want to shift topic a little bit, talk about leading your company. How have you evolved as a leader in the 17 years that you've been doing this, right?
It's been a journey. So for sure. I entered into the business with a couple fundamentals that I stuck by. Number one, I watched a lot of companies and leaders struggle because they feel like they have to know it all. I approach it as I don't know what I don't know. So I'm here to learn. I'm going to make the best decisions I can. I'm going to try and be informed on my decisions, but I'm also not going to be afraid to be like, I don't know, as a newer leader. And that served me very well. I reach out to a number of resources throughout this, built a great team around myself, both internally at Creston to help shore up some of where my weaknesses are. And then my external team of advisors has been very, very critical to my success. I'll give those folks all the props in the world. Out of West Michigan here, we have a ownership or a president CEO mentoring program called GEM here locally. Went through that program where I was paired with a been there, done that CEO. It's all about scaling businesses and trying to remove some of those leadership barriers. So I went through that mentoring program. That was a great experience.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been any better. I serve on the board of that now. I was passionate about that. After that, I actually put together an advisory board because I feel like everybody in an organization needs some form of accountability. Everybody needs some external guidance. If I'm really going to lean into this, I don't know what I don't know. Being a little vulnerable on your leadership abilities and be willing to open, you have to put those things in place. So I put an advisory board in place that helps guide Creston through a lot of changing time. Like I said, it's been a journey. I learn every day. I just try and keep those same fundamentals and be humble and vulnerable to the people that are helping you.
That's great. They say it's lonely at the top, right? You have to have people you can turn to and talk to.
Fortunately, the lonely at the top did exist, but it's not as much for me anymore. I have an amazing network of people that are like-minded and want to grow and trying to figure out how to navigate some of the challenges. So that's been extremely valuable for the success of Creston and myself.
What are you most looking forward to?
So I would say right now, what's exciting for me is how our industry has kind of lagged on the technology side of things for a while. I'm a big data guy, technology to make our things easier. I'm trying to think of the term I would call it. Like, in a sense, I'm lazy because I don't ever want to do anything repetitively. I want to make it so I do it one time and then I never do it again.
Yeah.
This AI and automation tools that are coming out for business systems are going to take away a ton of mind-numbing, repetitive work that me and a ton of folks are doing. And then I can take this team that is extremely talented and utilize their talents for better and higher usage. So we continue to work on that and invest in that. But I think that's going on with the whole industry. The automation side, not just like robots loading and replacing people, but the automation that helps with quoting, helps with coding, for programming CNCs, helps with tweaking systems, helps with accounting, helps with legal. It's amazing how these tools are really going to force our industry to adopt some technology that I think we've been a little bit resistant on. I don't think that the reason is just because our heads are buried in the sand. There's an investment that has to be made. If you're going to invest in that, you want to get an ROI. But if you're dealing with something that you don't quite know what the ROI will be, or it's a lot of money, that might be the reason you're not adopting. There's too much risk there. I think that we're going to be forced into really take a hard look at adopting these things, especially with where labor and wages are. Folks that are doing the work for you really need to be, with what people make these days, you really have to make sure they're doing high value, high quality work all the time. And let's leave the automation to do some of the monotonous stuff. Thanks, Emily.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Yeah.